Welcome back to the Morning Blend. Well, we think that teens are the only ones texting and driving, but adults are just as guilty.
Yeah, and here to tell you more about the dangers of texting and driving are Jon Safran and Jerry Konkel, partners at Samstert, Konkel, and Safran, who are also sponsors for our Band Together campaign to fight texting.
And they wear their thumb bands, too.
Yes,
we
texting and distracted driving. So that's something we're all fighting together. We're banding together to stop. How are you, gentlemen?
We're good, thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here. You know, it's interesting because we've started this Band Together project, and I truly think, even as myself, I've been guilty of holding my phone, looking at my phone, and now just simply having taken the pledge, having this around, whether it's in my car or someplace that I see it, I think twice, and I don't do it now. And I think that's what it's about. It's about getting awareness out. How do you guys feel about, you know, people that you've represented? You've worked a lot with distracted driving cases, right?
We have. And again, I think most people would think and realize that if you're distracted, you have a tendency to have an accident. But again, it's awareness, and it's again reminding all the time of what the consequences are of that kind of activity.
What are the comparisons that you see between drunk driving and distracted driving or texting while driving?
The statistics show that distracted driving is actually more dangerous than drunk driving, and your reaction time while you're texting or otherwise distracted is the equivalent of being beyond the legal limit.
You know, I don't always think of lawyers going in and speaking to students, but you guys were part of a national campaign last year that also did, you know, talk to high school students and such. How was that national campaign, and did you feel that campaigns like this work?
Well, we've known, obviously, this is a problem for a long time, and we as attorneys that do this kind of work realize that we have to get the word out. And we know that teens are doing more texting. We know that there's a lot more distracted driving. We all see that. And we think, again, that by hearing from us practical experiences, knowing that we deal with this on an everyday basis, that maybe it will hit home that much more. And I think the response is generally good, but again, I think it's just a constant reminder that needs to go out there.
I'd like to hear some personal experience that you have with people who have been involved in accidents, maybe even caused accidents like this. What do people share with you in your office? What confessions have you heard from people who admit to texting and driving or being distracted while driving?
Well, we lean on our people in our office about that all the time. We talk about it, and our people in our office are fortunate because they get to meet some of our clients. I have a client who has a very serious brain injury as a result of being struck by a car that was using a GPS, distracted by a GPS. The criminal lawyers in our office, in our office building, they are constantly defending people with these types of with these types of issues. So we see very, very serious injuries. And one of the ironies is that for as long as we've been practicing law, technologies have tended to make driving safer. Things like three-point restraints, airbags, all those things. This is the first technology that it really exploded, but is starting to be a scourge in causing injuries.
Is it realistic to think that at some point our phones will disable when we go in a car? I mean, is that realistic to think something like that could happen, or is it always going to be something we just truly have to be responsible for and not do?
I think there are more and more apps out there that are designed to stop people from using or receiving texts. I think if it continues to be the problem that we see, that it's going to be that eventually there'll be enough cases that may prompt manufacturers and others to have some type of devices in their vehicles that are going to disable both the ability to text and to talk.
Well, yeah, you think about people who have had multiple drinking and driving offenses, and they have the blow tube where they can't drive if they blow over a legal limit. You would think there's something that could disable a cell phone. You know, if you've been stopped for texting and driving or something like that, you only get, you know, I mean, it's sad to think you'd get an offense or a strike or two, but I mean, it's just something I would think would be a wave of the future.
Well, statistics have shown that the safety devices or the hands-free devices that auto manufacturers are putting into cars actually are not helping to prevent distracted driving. I think that some of the technologies are getting better, but the hands-free and the touch screens, depending upon the proximity to the driver, can actually be more distracting. Now things like heads-up displays are targeted towards preventing those types of things, remains to be seen how effective they are. But you asked a question about whether or not manufacturers can do things like disabling telephones. I looked at my iPhone today, and there is a ability of my iPhone to send an automatic message back. However, you have to look at your phone and do it.
Oh, no.
So yes, in order to respond.
Well, that's the thing. We had a guest on our show who asked us during a commercial break, well, I use the voice-activated
Siri
text.
or-
I use Siri or whatever. But the thing is, you do that, you hit send, but then a lot of people read it before they send it. You know what I'm saying? So some of those things you have to really think through. Is it safe to do while I'm driving? I think what you guys are doing is fantastic and being part of this huge campaign that we have going on right now at today's TMJ4. And you can actually enter to win an iPad mini, which is super exciting. What you need to do is like today's TMJ4 on our Facebook page, then go ahead and take the pledge online there. And again, you can enter to win one of the iPad minis that we're giving away each week. And what you need to do to get in touch with the gentlemen we have today on our show, Samster, Konkel, and Safran attorneys, their website is skslawyers.com, or you can call their offices at 414-224-0400. And I know you do a lot in terms of giving back to the community, and we appreciate that and appreciate your partnership on this.
We do that. Well, also, anyone that contacts us, we're happy to give them the bands. We're happy to send the bands. So we want the more and more people to see that, let their neighbors know, their friends know, their family know, so that everyone is aware.
Give your teen
Keep
a
it in your car.
band to wear. Yeah, it's a
And
good
any
idea.
groups interested, we are soliciting, speaking all the time.
That's great.
Fantastic. Thanks,
Wonderful.
guys.
Thanks.